more news and notes here. Ben Roethlisberger's name has emerged in a very, I don't know, take it as you will, headline of the New York Jets quarterback situation. Speaking of Aaron Rodgers, they're looking for a veteran. Zach Wilson is their guy right now. Robert Saleh has made it very clear. They're not looking for a veteran to come in here and start. They're looking for a veteran to come in here and support their young quarterback, much like Aaron Rodgers would. Ben Roethlisberger is a name that right now is, quote-unquote, a wild card candidate to be that option, to be that veteran backup for Zach Wilson here. Two things that I think very much so stand out to me. It's been a full year. Ben Roethlisberger seems very happy. Seems like he's drinking a lot of beer on these podcasts and eating a lot of junk food. Is he ready to play? Could he come in here to play? Do you think that Ben Roethlisberger could still play football? And two, do you think there's any chance Ben Roethlisberger would take a backup job in the NFL?
No, not at all. Like, that guy has, I don't want to call it an ego. I don't think but like, he's done too much in this league, and I think has too much pride in his work to ever, especially a backup job to Zach Wilson. Like, are you kidding me? Like, this is, there's not a chance in how he's going to take a backup job. Like, if he was taking one to, Rodgers or Patrick Mahomes or Tom Brady or something like that, like, I think he might consider it. He might understand it a little bit more, but there's no chance that I think he has a little bit too much of a, like I said, I don't want to call it ego, but I think that's really the best word.
Pride.
Pride, like in who he is to take a backup job like that. And then, I think you also bring up a good point. Like, don't think that guy's in any shape to play, which, like, perfectly within his right. Like, he doesn't need to. Like, he's not playing football. Like, but
dude, he's 41 years old.
Right. Everyone should be drinking a lot of beer and eating junk food at 41 years old. That's how everyone's life should go. But no, I don't think he's really in any shape to play. I don't think that's, when you say wild card, that would be the wildest of cards. That is,
The other options, I don't think so. Jeremy Fowler of ESPN is the one who named Ben a wild card. Blake Bortles was on that list as well. I want to say Andrew Luck was on that list as well. It really was like the wild cards of wild cards to come out here and play football for the New York Jets. I agree with you. I like two things here. So for one, the backup job, I think Ben's mindset the second that he got to New York would be like, okay, well, the clock's ticking. What do I got to go? 2 games max before I'm the starting quarterback here. Like, there's just, maybe let's just go win a Super Bowl. And I think if that was the case, I think if Robert Saleh called him and was like, hey, man, you're going to come in here as the backup, but we're obviously going to let you try to prove yourself, and this is Zach's job, but we're just going to say that to the media. And I think that the coaches would do that. I think that would be a really upfront conversation to a guy like this. And I think if that was the case and they were like, yeah, you know what? If Ben was like, yeah, I think I could do this. I think this is a team that's Super Bowl bound. Let's try to win one. Let's see what happens. Cool. My qualms there. My worries there. The New York Jets offensive line stinks. Awful. And he's already done this. Like, Ben already went out with an awful offensive line. He had to deal with that for 2 seasons at the end there. I would not want to go do that again. Maybe he would, but if you're ending, it's not like it got better like after Aaron Rodgers went down. They saw they were just as bad after those 4 plays as they were during those 4 plays. I think he could come do it because Ben, I don't know if Ben ever worked out a day in his career. Like, I just, that's just drinking beer and not throwing footballs. That's just who Ben Roethlisberger was, and he's a Hall of Famer with it. So maybe you could pull that off at 41 years old. But the leaving your life, you know what I'm saying? Like, right now he runs a comfy podcast. He drinks a lot of beer, like you said, like at 41. Like, he is a retired football player at the peak. He's got like 10 years before everything starts just like diminishing and the legs start hurting all the time and this and that. And for right now, just enjoy it. Sit back. No need to go do anything. How upset are Pittsburgh Steelers fans if he, for some, and look at me and you, neither of us believe that this would ever happen. Obviously, we laughed when the topic got brought up. But how upset are Pittsburgh Steelers fans if this actually does happen?
Oh, you're livid, right? Like, because then you're like, why did you retire in the first place if you're going to go play for the New York Jets? Like, that's dumb. Like, why would you not just stick around here if you wanted to keep playing? You know what I mean? Like, if you're gonna revive your career, do it for us. Like, our quarterback stunk last week. Why don't you? No, I'm kidding.
I know. What if it does? What if that's the thing? Because Ben was pretty open about how, like, oh well, they didn't want me back after that final season or whatever. They wanted a new quarterback. And what if he's like, well, I'm coming back for the Jets. Maybe I'd come back for Pittsburgh, give a little phone call, being like, hey, look they want me. Maybe you guys want me too. Let's see, everybody's in a bad situation right now. Let's see if I can fix it.
Yeah, just start a bidding war over 41-year-old Ben Roethlisberger. Let's do it. Yeah, that'd be pretty incredible. But yeah, I don't know. I don't think Ben. I think Steelers fans would. I think Steelers fans would genuinely hate that so much. Like, especially if he like won and he was good. It would be like if he stunk, like no one would really care. But if he was really good, that'd be the worst thing that like ever happened to this.
Dude, imagine if somehow they ended up in the playoffs facing each other. That would be
weird.
Be heartbreaking.
I'm trying to imagine Ben in a Jets jersey, and I
can't do it.
Yeah, I don't think I can. That stuff doesn't work out.
It goes up there with the. Like, I think everybody got used to Tom in a Tampa Bay jersey, but I think Tom in a Tampa Bay jersey was one of them. Favre in a Jets jersey was definitely one of them. Montana in a Chiefs jersey, super, super weird.
Yeah.
You could go down the line, but they're like, I think it would be up there with like, just like, what do we do? Why? Why did we do this?
Right.
Phillip Rivers in a Colts jersey. Weird.
Oh yeah. Ugh, yeah.
Yeah, it was gross. Like, it's just, what do we, there's just, you hit a certain point where you're just like, okay, you're 37 years old, man. You're not allowed to leave. Like, this is,
yeah.
this is you're going to leave, retire. Just, those are your only options. Rodgers doing it was weird. Like, it made sense just because, like, it was Rodgers. I think he's a little weird. Like, I like Aaron Rodgers as a player, but I think it kind of fit his personality. But the rest of them, I think Ben would go right up there in terms of weird quarterbacks to switch teams. What would be more realistic here? Okay. Andrew Luck coming out of retirement to play for the Jets. Tom Brady coming out of retirement to play for the Jets. Or Ben Roethlisberger coming out of retirement to play for the Jets. Those are three names that just continue to get tossed around out here.
Well, Andrew Luck is like physically incapable of playing football, right? Like he's like not. Yeah. He's just not.
He's like 130 pounds.
Yeah. Well, I mean, okay. To be fair, you've seen a picture of Tom Brady over the past couple like.
Yeah, but Tom Brady's like Tom Brady's like 130 pounds because his body hasn't like eaten a carb in 15 years.
Yeah.
Andrew Luck's like living in trees and stuff, I feel like.
Yeah, that's true. But like Brady, I also feel like could play at 130 pounds and he'd be like, all right, like he'd figure it out. So I think Brady's honestly the most likely one. Like, it's also so funny that we've got like two like tiny dudes. Like Ben has gone in a completely opposite direction in his retirement than Brady and Luck have. Like,
oh yeah.
It's interesting. But yeah, no, I think Brady'd probably be the most likely one, right? Like he's just a little bit of a freak and he like I said, could play in a not ideal playing weight, like at a not ideal playing weight, like even if he's not totally in shape, like he's the one I think best suited for success after taking. Has it only been a year? How long is he? No,
I think Brady's a year. Yeah, it was last year.
No, yeah, he
played 0 years.
Yeah, he stunk it up in a playoff game last year.
He did.
I remember that.
He did.
Yeah,
it was a good moment for you, probably.
It was pretty funny. Like that would be funny if anyone like flopped in a playoff game that bad, but he was. But the fact that
so you have firsthand experience here. This is actually really good. So you have firsthand experience of what this is like. For everybody who doesn't remember, as we bring it up constantly, Steven grew up a New England fan. Gross. Watched Tom Brady leave, go to Tampa Bay. Okay. Say Ben ends up in New York, ends up in the playoffs. You rooting for him or are you rooting against him? Like, what was the mindset there? You enjoying that he flopped, or are you like, kind of wish that he pulled this one off again?
Well, so I enjoyed watching Brady lose. Like that was as soon as he left New England, I was kind of rooting against him. I was never like he was good for the Patriots, and I liked him, but I think I liked him pretty much only because he was a Patriot. Like
okay,
I didn't, like have some kind of great appreciation for him, like just as a player. I think. Whether
it's weird, but go ahead. I'm listening.
Well, yeah, I don't know.
Greatest quarterback of all time, but go ahead, keep going.
Yeah. No, I have an appreciation for that, but I wasn't like, I love Tom Brady. Like he's my favorite player. Like as soon as he left, as soon as he got out of that Patriots jersey, I was kind of like, okay, that's done. And then he was just he was what everyone else sees Tom Brady as. I think
that stinks.
Especially after he won that Super Bowl with Tampa Bay, I was kind of like, all right, this is someone like when they did the Brady retirement thing last week, or the like they honored him at the Patriots game last week. I was kind of like, okay, sure, like cool, I wasn't really, I don't know, I wasn't like shedding tears or anything. It was so, but I think Ben is different, you know. Like I think Ben has, I don't like. I think Ben has a much closer emotional bond with Pittsburgh than Tom
Yes.
had with New England. Like Tom just won there, and I think that earned him a lot of love there. But I don't think
Is
he's
there
like a
any
New
emotional
England
connection
guy.
in New England? Like, does New England? Because like your head coach is Bill Belichick, who's the least emotional human being on the planet.
Right.
You're in Boston, who's just a bunch of loud, non-emotional humans. What like is there even a? Do you guys even know what emotional connection is? Like, do you have? Is there anybody who's like, oh man, that guy
Well,
loves
yeah.
that guy?
I mean, there are plenty of like, David Ortiz was that way. Like everyone loves that guy.
Yeah, David Ortiz is true. Yeah, but he's yeah,
But
that's
like
true.
Brady was just not. Brady was good, like
Yeah,
Brady's reputation was built on his football, not necessarily like, oh, he's this huge like giant in the community, like he's
yeah,
some figure
yeah. We're
pillar of like Boston
yeah,
society or whatever. Like no one thinks of him in that same way. Whereas I think
yeah.
Ben has a little bit of a different pull in Pittsburgh, and so if he's not playing the Steelers, you might, I think, be a little bit more inclined to actually root for him and pull for him.
Yeah, okay, I agree with that. I agree with that. Yeah, that last game that Ben was at, that last home game against the Browns, I've never seen a Steelers crowd better than that one.
Mhm.
So I see where you come from. I agree. I agree. All right, let's move on from Ben Roethlisberger. Hopefully, forever, so that he doesn't have to become a New York Jet. But we'll see what happens.